Hey friends, this is the Miss Volfie from our half-acre homestead. Let's make a decorative cookie container. For this, you're going to need a Pringles can. Now, we don't normally eat these chips, but my son bought some the other day, and I said, do not throw this away, because this is another craft I saw, again, on Facebook. Now, what you're going to need is some Christmas wrap, and I love this stuff. I get it at Costco. I buy a roll like every 2 years, and it actually lasts me. I still have my roll from 2 years ago, because it's reversible. So we've got our wrapping paper. Reversible is great, but you know, you don't need it. You're going to need maybe some glitter ribbon. This is actually white glitter. It looks like snow. A contrasting pipe cleaner. And I'm going to use Elmer's spray glue because it's just going to work the best for me. Now, you don't need an X-Acto knife if you're going to do this with kids. You may want to do this part yourself ahead of time. So first things first, we're going to take our Pringles can. We're going to take the lid off it. And I want the big Santa Claus on the outside. So I've cut this somewhat close to measure. And I'm just going to fold the edge because I didn't cut a very straight edge. So I want this to look nice and tidy. And I'm just going to roll it up using the edge of the Pringles can as my line. And you're going to want to make sure the edge of your paper goes all the way up to the edge or the lip. And I'm just going to place a teeny beeny little piece of tape right here at the bottom. Because once I take this off, if it rips, I can actually fold the other side over. Now I'm going to feel. I'm going to tuck this in at the bottom, and I'm going to feel for the edge of the can. Maybe even crease it with my fingernail. That's actually a really good idea. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and all along the crease, I'm just going to cut the excess paper away. If you don't want to use an X-Acto knife, crease it with your nail or a fork or the back of a butter knife, and then unwrap the paper and cut it with a pair of scissors. There we go. Now I'm very carefully going to take that little piece of tape off, and I'm going to fold it under. Okay, now this should exactly fit our can. So now I'm going to take my spray glue and I'm going to spray the side of the paper that's going to be on the can. And very carefully, you want to keep a nice tension on this so that your paper covers the whole can. Just like that. Okay, we'll let that dry. And now I'm going to cut out the lid cover. And I'm just going to do that by cutting out around the lid with my X-Acto knife. Again, you can crease this and do it with scissors. And I am going to trim off the excess anyway, because now I want it to fit on the inside of this lid. So I'm going to put this inside the lid just to make sure it fits. We'll take it out, and again, just a little bit of spray glue. And we are going to tuck this inside. And there's our lid, just like that. Okay, we want to decorate it a little further though, and I want to give that a chance to dry. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this paper, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to use it to cover the area that I sprayed on this paper with glue so that anything else I work with doesn't get stuck. And it's fun for you to look at. So, now what I want to do, I'm going to take, what do you think? Gold or white? I like the gold. Let's do gold. So we're going to take a piece of our glitter ribbon here, and we're going to make sure it goes all the way around. Now I say, you know, depending on who you're working with, you can use any glue you want, but this stuff sticks down really quick for me. So I'm just going to cover the bottom with this glitter ribbon. I'm going to hold that in place and I'm going to pull it tight. And I'm again going to get a little bit of glue here. This glue is getting really old, so I'm just using it up. And we're just going to, pulling this nice and tight, we're just going to wrap that like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same at the top that I did for the bottom. And I'm going to start this back at the seams so that, you know, all the seams kind of match up and we don't have seams showing all over the place. And I'm just going to, again, pull this nice and tight all the way around. Now, if you want, you can use if you're using regular glue, go ahead and put a paper clip on this to hold it in place until your glue dries. I've changed my mind yet again, and I'm going to use a red pipe cleaner. And I'm going to take some of my gold glitter ribbon. And I am going to wrap the pipe cleaner around to the front of my container, and I'm going to give it a twist. And I've got another piece of my glitter ribbon, and I'm just going to make a bow by folding it and folding it again. And I'm going to lay it down onto where I twist tied, and I'm going to use the pipe cleaner and twist this into place. These are a perfect size. All you have to do is make sure when you're cutting your cookies that they're going to fit inside this, or if you're doing different shapes of cookies like snowballs or whatever, you can put them in little decorative baggies and you can put different kinds of cookies in this container. You can also put the person's name tag in between the paper and the lid, and that way you're personalizing it. Isn't that cool? This is the Mrs. Volfie from our half-acre homestead saying sometimes the simplest things can dress up a gift like cookies, and they know you did it yourself. They're going to love you for it. Take care. God bless.